Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel once again. So in today's video we are going to learn how we can paint flowers. These are mini flowers combined in a group, create one single flower and very easy to paint. Even if you are a beginner, you can paint all these flowers easily. So I'm going to create a string and then groups of flower in it. And I'm using this size 5 round brush. You can use little bigger, little smaller based on your comfort to paint all these things. And I'm using this 300 GSM watercolor sheet. You can use lesser than that because today we are not going to use any wet on wet technique, so it's fine to do little practice on a watercolor sheet having less than 300 GSM. And in the previous video we have learned how we can draw all these flowers with very simple techniques, so you can refer to that particular video to learn how we can draw this, and I'm going to give you a link into the description section for that video. Now let's start with the first one. So first one is inspired by the mustard flower, and I'm creating these small yellow flowers having 5 petals in it. So as you can see, I'm using only 1/3 of my brush, that is tip of my brush, to paint all these small flowers in a group. So basically I'm going to cover this particular area with these flowers. So it's totally depend on how much pressure you need and in which direction you want to move your brush to create all these small petals. So I have one more sub branch here, so I'm again creating a group of these flowers but lesser flowers in it. So you can create multiple groups of flower like this in a one single string. As I have told you, this is inspired by the mustard flower, so I think little bit green element is also needed. These are flower buds which is not yet bloomed, so you can create some green structure having same kind of process, creating one single stroke petal like structure to create flower buds as well. And I'm doing it for both the groups. Now you can create the ovary of the flower with the help of light green color. Now we're done with the flowers. Now let's create the fruit of the flower, or maybe you can say it the leaf of this particular flower. So I'm creating the middle string, sub string, then you can create multiple leaves or fruits of mustard around it. Attach all the flowers with the main stem with some fine stems because we don't want to keep our flowers hanging. So make sure we are doing that. And I think we are done with this particular one. You can add extra leaves also in between if you want to. Now let's jump into the second one. So second one is inspired by the delphinium, and in this particular one I'm creating a straight line and a leaf kind of shape having little bit pointed end so that we can create a group of flowers. This one is more like everything is covered with the flower, no green element in between. I'm creating these blue flowers having 5 petals in it, and this time I'm creating bigger flower, but my process is absolutely same. I'm creating 5 petals like yellow flower itself, but this time I'm creating bigger, but I'm using same size of brush and applying more pressure into my brush so that I can get little bigger petals. And I'm creating same kind of structure throughout, but we need a pointed end at the tip, so I'm creating lesser flower towards upward direction. Now you also need perspective of flowers in it because this is group of flowers, so we cannot create all the flowers having same perspective. So to achieve different perspective, you can create few petals little smaller and few petals little bigger, and you will automatically get different perspective of the flower. in between, if you are seeing any gap, you can create one stroke petal. You don't have to create whole flower itself, but basically I need to cover everything with the help of flower itself. Now with the help of sap green, create fine green structure at the tip. You can create a little bit in between as well, but I want to keep it as is, so I'm not doing much. And then create a middle string. So I'm creating this middle string with the help of green color, as this whole structure is filled with the flower, so we don't have much space to create all these stems. So you can do it as per your negative space available, or else just avoid it. We're done with the flowers, and if you see few flowers are hanging, you can create substems in between, and then you can create the ovary of the flower. Ovary of the flower is smaller in size because our flower itself is smaller, but as soon as you add these ovaries with different color, you can see the flower perspective much better. And we are done with this particular one as well. Now let's move to the third one. So for the third one, I have created one stem and few sub stem, little bit tilted towards the right side, so you can decide your direction. Now with the help of pink color, I'm creating these round structure. So very simple. I think this one is the simplest one to do. So create a round structure left and right of the main stem. You can do few for the sub stem as well. And as you are moving upward direction, keep the shape smaller. So bigger at the bottom, smaller at the top. And then create a middle string as per your composition. And if the flower is in the middle stem itself, just avoid creating stem, and then combine all these flowers together with the sub stem. You can create smaller element at the tip of this particular structure as well, and see how beautiful this flower is. Now you can do extra bit of detailing in it. So I'm creating sepals left and right with the help of green color again. For all these bigger, smaller, whatever element we are creating, I'm using same size of brush because I have control in my brush. So if you feel this is not comfortable for you, you can use smaller brush to paint a smaller element. Now I have added middle sepal as well, but I think I'm not liking it, so I'm going to correct it. Meanwhile, you can create leaves in between. So these are one stroke leaves having pointed end, very simple to paint. Again, depend on how much pressure you need and in which direction you want to move your brush. And then add dark shade of pink color just to hide the sepal that we have created, or else you can do some extra shading and detailing as well. Now we're done with the third one, very simple one, right? Now let's move to the fourth one. So for the fourth one, I'm starting with the stem and the leaf first, and then we are going to do flowers. So in this particular one, I'm keeping the leaves serrated at one side and smooth on the other side. So I'm moving my brush in a zigzag pattern and then creating the base of the leaf smooth, and I'm repeating the same thing throughout the structure, keeping bigger element at the bottom and a smaller element at the top. So we need to repeat the same thing on the right side as well. We have learned all these things in my previous video, like how we can draw all these leaves and flowers, so you can refer to that video. You can get a link into my description section. Now we are done with the leaves. We can add flowers now. So for the flowers, I'm using red color and I'm creating small petal kind of structure having zigzag kind of pattern in it. but I'm keeping small flowers but in a group. So one group having 3 to 4 flowers in it, and this whole structure itself is a one single flower. So repeat the same thing throughout the string, left and right. You can use different colors for the flower, different colors for the leaves. You can use different pattern of flower, you can use different pattern of leaves, and you can create multiple varieties of flowers like these. I don't know whether these flowers really exist or not, but I think it's very easy to paint and fun. Now you can create substring for the flowers. Again, we cannot keep flowers hanging, so you can do all these small detailing into your flower structure, and you can use all these flowers as a flower filler for your bouquet or group of flower, whatever you like to paint. Now let's move to the last one. So for the last one, again I have created a string, and then I'm creating flowers left, right and center. This flower is more like third one, but very different from that. So in this one also I'm creating round one kind of structure, but this is more on the oval side. The base of the flower is wider, so I'm keeping the base of the flower little wider and then creating this oval kind of shape, keeping negative space in between in an oval shape itself, and arrange all these flowers together in a string. Again I have kept a bigger flower at the bottom and a smaller at the top, and then with the help of yellow color fill the negative space to create ovary. So this is more like third one itself, but keeping one negative space in between gives very different effect. So you can create something like this and then attach all the flower with the help of substem and combine these elements together. You can create leaves. For this particular one I'm creating 2 strokes leaf having fine negative space in between, so you can choose different shape of leaves also. And you can take inspiration from all these flowers and create your own flowers having different varieties of flowers, leaves, structure in it. So hope you have liked this video. Please do let me know if you guys have any kind of feedback for me, and thank you so much for all your love and support and watching my videos. See you guys in the next video.